All right, guys, I am so sorry about that. I ended just really not feeling that well randomly. But we are back. I think what we're going to do, I'm going to call a little bit of an audible for the stream. I had this whole thing planned for, to talk about SCHD, my plan to get to 100 shares. I think we're going to put the kibosh on that. And why don't we just go through, do some Q&A. So I apologize once again, guys. And I'm just getting kind of sick out of nowhere, and I'm still kind of feeling it a little bit. So for some reason, guys, I'm just going to put it out there. For some reason, I end up this happens again. Just know there's something not right in the state of Denmark. So once again, I apologize. We're going to wing it though. We're just going to go for it. Let me go through the chat real quick though. I want to say what's up to all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for your patience. Thank you so much for hanging in there. And who do we got here? I see Shamir, who we haven't seen for a while. Shamir, good to see you, my friend. We got Fast Eddie. We got Zal. We got Kama. Good to see you guys. We got Be Still here. We've got Striper here, who says he probably had to use the bathroom. Yeah, I mean, not to give too much information, but you're not too far off. It wasn't. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But also, I think where we left off before I had to end it, I think I was asking you guys a few things. And I do want to hear about it in the live chat here real quick. I want to hear, number one, what you bought this week. What did you pick up for the last trading week of 2023 to close out the year? In fact, this was the last trading day of the year. So what did you guys pick up this week? Number two, what are you sipping on tonight for this? Probably what will turn out to be the worst dividend happy hour that we've ever done. I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah. So what are you sipping on tonight? I had this little cocktail over here. It's have a little Sprite Zero with a little bit of tequila in there. I'm going to just set that aside for now. Probably do not need it, so I'll just sip on some water. But also, yeah, so let me know what you guys are sipping on. But number three, guys, let me know, did anything cool happen in your guys' portfolio this week? Any new milestones hit? Maybe you hit a new income milestone. Anything crazy happened to you guys? I want to hear about it here in the live chat or in the comments below if you're watching the replay. Let me know those few things here in the chat. I'm going to go through the chat. We're going to go check it out real quick in just a moment. But I do have one quick housekeeping thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Recently, over the last probably, I'd say, week or so, I've been getting a lot of comments. I've been getting a lot of emails about the annual dividend information not loading on the spreadsheet. Going over here to the screen real quick, guys. Taking a look at my dividend portfolio tracking spreadsheet. If you're a user of this spreadsheet, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're not a user yet and you want to download this spreadsheet, it's totally free. There's a link to it in the description of the video. But all of this was zeroed out. It wasn't loading any data. The annual dividend data wasn't loading. And as you can see up here in the formula bar, this all came from a website called FinViz. And every once in a while, it'll have these issues where it'll kind of get all wonky. Here, what's it doing there? Yeah, screwed that up. It'll kind of get all wonky and it'll zero out. It just won't load the data. And so that was happening for a period of like 4 or 5 days. And it just got fixed today from what I've seen. So I do want to address that, let you guys know, any of you who've been having issues with that, it should be back to normal. But also just keep in mind, it's probably something that's going to happen again. This issue tends to pop up at least a few times a year, unfortunately, and it's always out of my hands, unfortunately, once again. So I did want to address that, but let me go through the chat real quick. I want to see what you guys have to say here. I do see a quick super chat from Victor, who left a sticker. Victor, thank you so much. But let me go through real quick and see what you guys bought and what you guys are sipping on here. So let's see. Josh, this is actually pretty crazy. Picked up $1,800 of SCHD since it's been lagging for a while. Great stuff. We got Kevin here cracking open his second bush. Probably finished the first one there in our little down period. Once again, guys, I am pretty embarrassed about that. So I apologize. I appreciate you guys rocking with me, hanging in there. We're still gonna have a fun stream. Maybe we will end up talking a little bit about SCHD. We'll see. And for those of you who are watching the replay, if this is your first time tuning into the Dividend Happy Hour, they don't usually go like this. It's a lot more smooth. And this was probably the worst way to close out the year on these live streams. But should we, I was really excited about the cheers. Maybe we'll get to a cheers in just a moment, but I was really excited about the cheers I had for this week. But we have Dan in the building, Dan the man, stacking cash this week. Probably a good move. I will say, and I'll be talking about this a little bit more in my video coming out this Sunday. Yeah, there's not too much out there that's really exciting. I mean, with everything that's been run up in the market, there's the discounts right now are pretty few and far between. So probably not a bad move to stack some cash. Jay here picked up some Pfizer. Speaking of discounts, Pfizer is one that just got obliterated this year. Pfizer, I think, is probably one of the worst performing stocks out there this year. It's really tanked. Definitely coming down from those pandemic highs. Their sales are dropping like a piano in the ocean or something like that. But yeah, Pfizer's definitely taking a hit. So, maybe a good time to buy Pfizer if you think about it. Think it's good from a long-term perspective. We've got Aussie investor only bought TSCO. We got Striper Kid picked up a little Starbucks because he's on vacation. Very nice. I actually bought a little bit more Starbucks this week myself too. A little bit of Starbucks, and for the first time in a long time, believe it or not, guys, a little bit of Altria Group. We got Play 23. My Vegas neighbor didn't buy anything this week. Liquidated my taxable due to a 7-figure bankruptcy. So I'll be tuning in and not buying for a few months. Well, my friend, that sounds pretty intense. So best of luck with that one. Yeah, best of luck with that. That sounds wild. Jay picked up some Starbucks. Good stuff. We got Dave here who sold out of RTX, consolidated Edison and Jeppy, all small positions, and reallocated that into some other stuff, sipping on some water. Good move. We got Greg here sipping on an espresso seasonal spiced coffee. Very nice. I went home for Christmas. Stayed at the in-laws most of that time. They had an espresso. We don't have an espresso at my house, but they have an espresso, and that was pretty delicious stuff. Really liked it. We got Todd here, picked up some NTST, Realty Income, and SPYI. Good buys. Rex, good to see you, my friend. SCHD, and he got his biggest dividend ever from Union Pacific of $133. Nice. That's crazy. Let's see. We got Striper drinking a Voodoo Ranger IPA. Good stuff. Sounds delicious. Pat picked up some Enbridge and Realty Income. Yeah, I'm feeling good now. That was really weird. So for those of you who are just now tuning in, this is like our second go around with the stream. I just very abruptly canceled it. Just was rolling for about a minute and a half. Just shut that thing off. I did not feel good for a moment there, but we're back. We're feeling okay now, and we're rocking and rolling. And just so you guys know too, so the stream usually goes from 5 to 6 p.m. Let's go till about 6:15. Let's go a little bit longer. I got to make it up to you guys in some way, so we'll stay a little bit longer tonight. We got Sam in the building. Good to see you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. Jay, all-time high in the portfolio. Nice stuff. Let's keep going here. Nice. Anthony, best month for dividends, $8 for the month. Good job, my friend. Let's see. We got Shamir signed up for the Canadian version of a 401k. Also, Shamir, man, we missed you these last few weeks. It's good to see you back in the stream. I hope you had a good Christmas. Hope you're doing well, and all that jazz. So we got Sai here, 100 SCHD and 50K portfolio value. Very nice. Blaze says, call it a night. Here, get well soon. No, I'm okay now. That was just, you guys ever have that? Just like those weird, like flash, just, I don't know, moments, and not, I don't know, just sometimes it comes out of nowhere and it goes just as quick as it came. That's just what happened to me. So yeah, really odd. Let's see. We got Rami just hit 250 shares of SCHD. That's very impressive. So this obviously the title of this stream is reaching 100 shares of SCHD in 2024. 250 shares, still at least a few years away from that. That's great, man. That's such a cool little milestone there. Let's see. Let's keep going here. I see Wilmer here, and I see a good question from Wallet Invest. I'll circle back to this in just a moment. I want to go through a few more of these buys and see what you guys have to say here. So Wilmer, one Main Street, one Stag, one SCHH, which I think is that the Real Estate Investment Trust ETF from Schwab? I always forget the ticker for that one. One Ares Capital and one Altria Group. I'm glad to see I'm not the only one buying a little MO. I think I'm down about, what am I down right now on Altria? I'm down about 5%. So good little time to average down. Oh yeah, Blaze here says, can you please show us your dividends received column? Yeah, so let's do that real quick. So over here on the spreadsheet, guys, let me zoom out a little bit too. And let's go over here. So total dividends received right here. Hopefully you can see that. These are all of my dividends received in their entirety. And this doesn't account for like any of my sold positions or dividends from stocks that I don't own anymore. This is just all my current holdings. But yeah, that's what it's looking like right now. Fast Eddie says too much Taco Bell. To be honest with you, I could not tell you the last time I had Taco Bell. It has been honestly probably since high school. I bet it's been 13 or 14 years since I've had Taco Bell. Long time. And I have no plans to go back soon. Nothing against Taco Bell, but if I'm going to fast food, it's going to be In-N-Out Burger. It'll be Chick-fil-A. Chipotle, I guess, kind of counts as fast food. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't, but Chipotle, I would definitely go 10 times over before I go to Taco Bell. Where else? Even like KFC, Sonic Burger. Oh, I love Sonic. Love Sonic. Let's keep going here. Rami says, is your goal, this is a really good question. Is your goal 100,000 in the portfolio in your early 30s? I would say so. I think really the goal is to get to 100K as quick as possible. But we'll see when that happens. I estimate it'll probably take at least another, probably a couple years, but we'll see what happens. But that would still, leave me in my early 30s. I'm only 30 right now, so plenty of time. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Zal said, I hit a huge milestone on Thursday. I got married. Congratulations, Zal, man. That's awesome. Good stuff. Let's see here. Man, this whole thing really threw me off. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm probably going to apologize at least 1,000 more times in this stream. Striper says, you're going to be surprised, but I sold out of Realty Income for a profit and put it all into Vici. Nice. Yeah, I don't think that's no judgment against that. I think both are great. I think you'll probably do fine with Vici over a long period of time. I mean, it's pretty hard to deny, at least solely based on past performance. Anything can change moving forward, but yeah, Vici is a much better grower than a much faster grower, I should say, than Realty Income. So maybe not a bad move. We'll see. I mean, Realty Income's just, it's steady, it's stable, it's a good sleep well at night real estate investment trust. So that's the draw to that one. Ben says, I have the goal to reach 100 shares of SCHD, have 19 left to buy. You know what? Let me just go through, guys. I don't want to leave you hanging on the SCHD stuff, but let's just go through real quick. I'll give you a little bit of the spiel. Just tell you very briefly about my plan to reach SCHD, 100 shares of SCHD before the end of 2024. So going back over here to the spreadsheet, guys, and this will take like a couple of minutes. I won't spend too much time on this. I already butchered enough of the stream already, but so right now, looking at my current SCHD position, guys, sitting at 51 and 1/10 of a share, basically. So I'm already over halfway to hitting that 100 shares. And with how I'm adjusting my contributions going over here, as you guys can see, and I just recently switched this up. You guys probably know this if you've been following the channel, at least for these last few weeks, or reading the newsletter. This is old news to you. Basically I already started. I'm adjusting my contributions to prioritize my Roth IRA, which is what SCHD is in. My Roth IRA is just SCHD and VU. And moving forward, I will be maxing out my Roth IRA. That's one of my big goals for 2024. And along with that, one of my side quests, I call it, is to get those 100 shares. Now, every single week in my Roth, I'll be investing $130, 60% of which, if we go back over here, 60% of which will go right to SCHD. So in this portfolio, it's a 60-40 split between SCHD and VU. So 60% of these contributions are going to go right to SCHD every single week. And there's going to be a little bit of variance week to week just based on how M1 Finance decides to allocate the funds. But on average over time, it'll get 60% of the contributions. Now, with that said, based on SCHD's current share price, well, let me take a step back. 60% of $130 is $78 exactly, okay? Now, based on SCHD's current share price of $76.13, at the current price, every single week I'm able to buy with that 60% contribution of the $130. I'm able to buy just over 1 share of SCHD per week. Now, let's see what it does in 2024. It could just as well, and we'll see what happens, but it could go up. It could go up to a point where it's over $78 per share, over $80 per share, maybe up to 85. Who knows what the share price is going to do, but it could get to a point where my weekly contributions are no longer buying 1 full share of the fund. And here's a few scenarios just to see how this will play out. I still have a little bit of wiggle room. Luckily, being over halfway there already is going to make it a lot easier to reach this goal. So here's a few scenarios. So let's say across the entirety of 2024, I'm buying SCHD at an average price of its current price, about $76 per share. Well, by the end of 2024, across a 52-week period, I'll be able to buy 53 shares of the fund, which added to my current position should put me at about 104 shares, maybe, about 104 shares of SCHD. So we'll hit the mark there. But even if I'm buying across the year, even if I'm buying at an average price of $80 per share, so a little bit higher than the current price, every single week I should be able to buy just under 1 full share, 0.98 shares to be exact. And so in the entirety of the year, I'll be able to buy about 51 shares, which would still put me over that 100 share mark by the end of 2024. Now, assuming in this last example here, the average price of all my tranches throughout the year is, $85 per share. Well, every single week I'm only buying an average of 9/10 of a share. So by the end of the year, I should be buying about 48 shares of SCHD, which would put me under the mark. That would put me under that, just under 100 total shares. I'd be looking at about, what is that, 98, about 99 shares actually. So we'd be 1 share short. But the thing is, even with those $130 weekly contributions, I'm still going to have, I think, a few $100 before I have officially maxed out my Roth IRA, in which case by the end of the year, I'll just invest the difference between what I've invested in the max to officially have it maxed out. So, even if we're buying SCHD at an average price of $85 per share across the entire year, with that extra bump at the end of the year, I should hit that 100 shares, no problem. But that's basically the plan, guys. I had a little bit more in my spiel that I was going to share, but we're already 35 minutes. Well, assuming it was a normal stream, we're already 35 minutes into it. That's pretty much the gist of it. But I do want to ask you guys real quick, put it back on you guys, and ask you, for those of you who do own SCHD, how many shares do you have in your portfolio? I'm curious to know what you guys are rocking with. I know one of our friends here just hit 250 shares of the fund, which is pretty dang impressive. But all you guys out there, let me know in the live chat or in the comments below how many shares of this fund you're rocking with. And if not SCHD, I have an alternative question. Are there any stocks or ETFs that you invest into every single week? Is there anything that you're dollar cost averaging into, rain or shine, no matter whether it's up or down? It doesn't have to be SCHD. I just, that's one I'm buying every week. VU's another one. SCHD is very popular in the dividend investing community here. Our friend Eric, I think before the stream started, I saw a comment that said he refuses to join the SCHD cult, which is totally fine. It honestly, admittedly, can at times be a little bit, I don't want to say cultish, but people can be pretty religious about their SCHD. I think it's a great fund. I don't know if that makes me part of the cult in buying it every single week, but I don't know. That's where we're at. But I want to hear from you guys. Like I said, very quick spiel. Here we go. JJ said it best. Yeah. Let's see. Let's keep going. I want to see what you guys have to say. Scroll down. Where are we at here? I'm going to have to get caught up in the chat. So, and I'm sorry if I missed some of your guys' comments. If you guys had any questions for me, if there was any comments in the chat here you wanted me to see, just drop them again for me here in the chat if you wouldn't mind. So let's see. Wow. Some of you guys have some really insane SCHD positions. Okay. So let's see. Mountain High says 189 shares of SCHD. That's crazy. Good job. Jay says I have 100. Nice. JJ says 270. Very nice. Great job. Sev says 25 shares, but only started investing this year. That's okay. Jarian says 37 shares. Very nice. Anthony says, I bumped up my SCHD 2 weeks ago. It was buying $2 a day, $10 per week, now 5 a day, 25 a week. Currently about 4.5 shares. There we go. Pat, holy cow. 352 shares of the holy grail of dividend ETFs. That's very impressive, man. Deslock, also very impressive, 253 shares. Aussie has 30 shares. Oh, there we go. This is great. Cody says 70 shares. I had 150 a week. So you're getting just under 2 shares every single week at its current price. That's nice. Very nice. Let's see. Hova. H to the is O, V to the is A. Sorry. 130 shares. Been buying $40 per day. Wow, good job. Benny says no SCHD. Nothing wrong with that. Chris, 46.5 shares of SCHD. Good stuff. Jeff doesn't look like any SCHD, but 100 plus shares of SVOL. Okay. Danny's got 18 shares. Wow. Mountain High says, I'll be adding about 8 to 10 shares per month. Very impressive. Good job. Let's see. Rami has a few ETFs, VU, DGRO, VUG, and Berkshire. All good choices. Good stuff. And real quick, I'll continue on to the comments in just a moment, but I do want to say this. I meant to say this like when I first started the stream when we were going through the toast. There's about 250 of us here in the live chat right now. And part of my cheers tonight, guys, I was anyway, not part of the cheers, whatever. I just wanted to extend a quick thank you to all you guys out there. With another year in the books, I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate all of the support here on the channel. It is really only because of you guys that I'm fortunate enough to be able to do this thing that I love for a living. And once again, I just want to thank you guys all out there. We have a lot of fun, you know, in the videos. We have a lot of fun here on the live streams. Even when they get butchered, we're still having fun. And I'm looking forward to keeping the party going with you guys here in 2024 and beyond. So I just wanted to say thank you real quick. It means a lot that you guys also have supported me over these last few years. And once again, we're going to keep the party going. So I just wanted to say that while there was so many of us here in the stream. So anyway, continuing on, Brandon here says 1,600 shares of SCHD. Holy cow. You know, okay, let's go over to the spreadsheet real quick, just for fun. I want to see how much income this is generated. So, or would generate that position size. So 1,600 shares of SCHD. Okay, let's see here. So that is, let's see here. That is about $120,000 invested, or yeah, just under $120,000 invested in the fund. And I know just the average cost is my own average cost, whatever. That is $4,200 of annual dividend income. And dang. Okay, so with 1,600 shares of SCHD, every single year, you'd be getting about 56 shares just with your dividends reinvested. So what is that per quarter? That's about somewhere between 13 and that's about 14 actually, right? Yeah, that's about 14 shares every single quarter. That's insane. So just every single year from dividends reinvested, this is more than my current position. That's crazy. Oh, that is so crazy. But that's really cool. Anyway, that was kind of fun to see. So let's go back over here. Bear with me. There we go. Let's see. Akash says 63 shares. Ed Milson, 5.5. There we go. Nice. Rex here. 102 shares of SHD with over $500 per month invested into it. Nice. Let's scroll through a couple more. I see Dividend Pro with 11 shares. I see Fernando with 2 shares, but started a couple months ago. Nice. Seth here, this is great. 329 shares, about to turn 33. That's very cool. We got Big Bad Jim Betts in the building. No SCHD, but only one ETF, and it's TGIF, which is the weekly. Yeah, he said the weekly dividend payer. Okay, nice. Wow, look at this, guys. Sam, 4,036 shares of SCHD. So let's take, just for fun, we're going to take a look at this again real quick. 4,036 shares. That would be about $300,000 invested in SCHD, and every single year you'd be getting 141 shares just from dividends being reinvested. So that's about 35 shares of SCHD every single quarter just from dividends. Unreal. Unfreaking real. Good for you guys. You guys are crushing it out there. So let's keep going. I'm gonna scroll down. I apologize if I'm skipping some of your guys's comments. I see the cool thing is I see so many of you guys with 3-figure shares of SCHD. Even those of you guys who are just starting out, good job. Like, just keep climbing. Pretty soon, we'll all, just with consistency, consistent investing and reinvesting, we'll all be at 1,600 shares, at 4,036 shares. It just takes time, but we'll get there. We're getting there. Let's keep going. I'm going to scroll down. Yeah, Samir says, first time on the live show, you're doing great. Well, thank you. I mean, you must have missed the first probably 10, 15 minutes. I'm not going to get over that, guys. I will say this. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but we're back using the camera again. So that's pretty exciting. I got this little thing. I won't be able to show it, but it's this little just adapter for my camera that allows me to use it for the streams again. So I'm very excited about that. And I think it looks even better than it did the first time I was using able to use the camera. So Fast Eddie, this is a good question. Still holding 3,000 plus in cash, Ryan? Are you? Not quite. I am sitting at, let me show you. I am sitting at $2,175 in cash. So I've been slowly deploying it back into the portfolio, and I'll probably just continue to do so until it runs out. I got a decent chunk of change for Christmas to put into my Charles Schwab account. So once that hits, maybe we'll go on a nice little shopping spree. We'll see what happens. But yeah, still sitting on a little bit of cash, but over time we're working through it. We're getting back down there. So anyway, no, thank you guys so much. I'm at the part in the live. I'm about 5 minutes behind in the chat right now. So you guys are just giving some thanks and stuff like that. I appreciate that, guys. I really do. Once again, I appreciate all the support. I appreciate you guys rocking with me. And, I especially thank you guys I'm especially appreciative. Those times I don't mean to keep bringing it up, but, just hanging out, just hanging around, just not giving up when the stream abruptly stops. I appreciate you guys sticking around and helping me make it work. And actually, fun fact, right now we are at 270 people in the stream. This is the most amount of people we've ever had in the live stream, guys. And with that said, nobody leave. We're at 270. Let's see if we can get to 300 tonight, guys. Send the link to your friends. Send the link to your parents, your grandparents, your brothers and sisters. Let's get this stream to see if we can get this stream to 300 people. That'd be crazy. Let's keep going here. Wow. Yeah, there we go. Pizza in the building. First time joining in a while. I was thinking about you, Pizza. I was going through just going through one of my old videos, and I saw a comment of yours, and I was thinking, I haven't seen Pizza in a while. So I hope you're doing well, my friend. I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope Santa was good to you. And the same is true for all of you guys out there. I hope Santa was good to you this year. And while we're kind of on the subject of holidays, New Year's is a couple days away. You guys have any big plans this year? Any big New Year's plans? I'm curious to hear what you guys have going on. So, this is a great question too. So Mountain High says, question for the end. How do you think 2024 may shape up? And I want to put this back on you guys too. I want you guys to answer this question in the live chat as well. I know it's impossible to predict the future. No one knows what's going to happen, but how do you think 2024 may shape up? A lot of word on the streets favors small caps. Mountain High is sticking with Tom Lee again this year. I don't know who Tom Lee is. Setting some funds on the side as we may trade sideways for some time. Okay. This is a good question. How do you think 2024 may shape up? I honestly, like I said just a second ago, it's impossible to predict the future. I don't even want to attempt to make any predictions because I truly don't know. And truth be told, it's really not something I'm that concerned about. It's not something that I give much thought to, like sitting around thinking, what is, gosh, this time next year when we're doing this stream on December something or other, the last stream of 2024, I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but basically, long story short, I have no idea what's going to happen. I really don't. I will tell you this though, I've really been enjoying the ride, and it's been a fun ride so far. It's been fun over these last few years, just getting those reps in the market, hopefully becoming better as an investor. I don't know. We'll see. But all I can do and all we can do is focus on the things that we can control, which is how much we're contributing to our portfolio, how we're allocating our funds, the research that we're doing, stuff like that. And when it comes to predicting the future, it's kind of fun, to wager on whether the market will be up or whether the market will be down, or whether we'll see a recession or maybe we will not. It's kind of fun to think about those things, but I really wouldn't even know where to start when it comes to making those sort of predictions, because I just don't know. I do know for sure though, it will be a very interesting year. It will be a very interesting year. So yeah. One thing I am hoping for though, I experienced a couple dividend cuts in 2023. I'm hoping that I won't see any in 2024. We'll see what happens. But as long as I can make it through 2024 without one of those happening, I'll consider that good. What the market's going to do is totally out of my hands, totally out of our hands. But I don't know. There we go. Wes says, "Can we guess how many calories you burned in the first 2 minutes of the stream?" Yeah, you can guess. It was probably more than on the walk to 100. Which, by the way, guys, we'll be kicking that back up on Monday morning, bright and early, back to the walk to 100 streams. Blaze here says, "I know you're pretty large in several positions like Chevron, Apple, and others. Would you ever trim some of your winnings to reinvest elsewhere?" I don't, I don't know. This is something I really go back and forth on in my mind. At this point, I think the only reason I would do so would be to, like, if I saw just other opportunity elsewhere and wanted to lock in some gains and use those profits to reinvest into maybe a better opportunity. But I don't know that I would, like Chevron and Apple, those are good examples. Snap-on's another really good example. I just don't know that I would I don't know that I would trim any of the positions. I don't know. Probably not, because I think they're good companies, so I might as well hold on to them. And I don't know. Like with Chevron I guess this is the case with all of them. Like I just said a moment ago, I have no idea what's going to happen with the share price. I don't want to look at something like Chevron where I'm up. Let's see, where is it? I don't want to look at something like Chevron where I'm up. Come on, thing. It's not scrolling. Bear with me. There we go. I don't want to look at something like Chevron where I'm currently up 60%, or something like Apple where I'm up 50%, and trim it just because I'm seeing this gain. Because for all I know, I could sell out or trim some of it at a 50% or 60% gain, and then it could climb from there. Same thing with Apple, same thing with all of these. I just don't know what's going to happen. So I don't know that I want to get into the business of trying to time things, because I could very much be wrong. And that's just not something I want to worry about at this point. And I think there's different schools of thought on this. I've actually recently heard a couple different opinions on doing something like that from different investors that I really look up to. Like, I think it was Monish Prabrai. I was listening to a podcast of his recently, and he talked about that. He talked about selling out of positions, locking in some gains, and basically just capitalizing on those returns, realizing those profits. And it worked out for him. But then again, on the other hand, which, by the way, guys, we are up to almost 290 people in the stream. No one go anywhere. We are so close to 300. That will just be like a great way to close out the year. But then again, I listened to someone else. I don't remember who it was, but that individual, whoever it was, it might have been Guy Spear, or maybe it was even like Warren and Charlie's, they were giving the whole, don't trim your flowers and water your weeds sort of speech. It might have been in one of the Berkshire shareholder meetings that I was listening to. And so, long story short, they basically said the opposite, to do the opposite of what Monish was saying, who is a self-proclaimed shameless cloner of Warren and Charlie. So, one really good investor says, lock in your gains. And then another really good investor says, don't lock in your gains if you think it's a good business. And so, with that said, I don't know, kind of leaves you up in the air on what to do and what's right. And I don't know what's right in that situation. I really don't. I don't know if there's a wrong answer. I don't know if there is a right answer, but I do know in the meantime, I can just do nothing until I'm figured out. So that's probably what I'll do. Such a roundabout answer for that question. I'm sorry. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see here. Keep going. Yeah. Okay. Having the neighbors over, asked about the New Year's plans. So Striper's having the neighbors over for New Year's. There you go. Good stuff. Chris here says, gonna work, party, drink, crypto. There you go. Let's see. Jim says retired every day is New Year's. There you go. Groundhog Day. Let's see. Gotta go. Starter wife summoning me. Okay. See you, Michael. I'm like 6 minutes behind in the stream. Let me scroll down. And get caught up here. So, and I apologize if I skipped over some of your comments. This is actually a good question here from Jay-Z Hova. Any thoughts about investing in a high yield income play? He says he has 230 shares of Ares Capital, ARCC. So I don't know what the exact yield on Ares is, but I do have some high yielders in my portfolio. Like if we go over here, and to answer your question just right off the bat, I don't really have any plans to add any more high yielders specifically. If I see one that piques my fancy, I'll jump at the opportunity. But I feel that I have a decent amount of high yielders, and I would like to add some more high growth dividend stocks to the portfolio if I'm going to add anything. But looking at some of my high yielders here, we've got EPD, who's got a yield of 7.6%. My yield on cost is a bit higher. KRC, the yield's not too shabby, 5.4%. Main Street Capital Corporation, which is a business development company just like Ares Capital, 7.8%. We have Altria, whose yield is so high right now, 9.5%. And it's pretty unbelievable to see how much higher Altria's yield is right now compared to the 5-year average. I think the 5-year average yield for this company is about 7.5. So it's much higher than it's historically been over these last 5 years. And then we have the highest yielder in my portfolio, which is OBDC, another business development company. Blue Owl Capital Corporation at 10.77%, but my yield on cost is considerably higher, 11.8%. And then I've got some others here, like AT&T still, Verizon still. I'll sell out of these at some point. WP Carey's coming in at a 7% yield. I forgot Realty Income right here too, 5.3%. So I do have some high yielders in the portfolio, and overall, I'm really happy with how the portfolio is shaping up. It's looking very well balanced. Got some high yielders. I've got some steady stalwarts like Procter and Gamble, Coca-Cola. What else do I got here? Like Southern Company, even very small position, but still. And then what else? I mean, Chevron's pretty steady too. Johnson & Johnson, of course. So I have those as well. Then I have some high growth dividend stocks with high dividend growth CAGRs like Snap-on, Lowe's with a near 20% 5-year dividend growth CAGR, Starbucks, who has a double-digit dividend growth rate, Williams-Sonoma with a nice, I think 16% 5-year dividend growth rate. So I'm pretty well balanced all across the board. Pretty happy with all of that. And that's kind of the approach I'll take moving forward. But yeah, if I look to add anything specifically to the portfolio right now, it's going to be some sort of high growth dividend stock, so I can give my overall 5-year dividend growth rate a nice little boost. So that's the plan. Let's see. Pokey DJ here says, Ryan, what are your thoughts on Utz brand? So Utz is kind of like they're a snack foods brand in the consumer staples sector. I know PPC Ian is or was a huge fan of Utz. He might not have it in the portfolio anymore, or maybe he does, but I don't know if that it's done very well for him. I don't remember. But I haven't looked into Utz for a long time, but last I looked at it, I don't remember liking it very much. Excuse me. I couldn't think of one thing I liked about it. We'll actually take a quick look at it while we're here. So, just very briefly, I think the dividend stats, even so, it's like there's really nothing to write home about with the dividend stats. I mean, 1.4% yield, really not any dividend growth, it looks like. I mean, what's going on? I mean, yeah, I mean, look at this. This is all over the place. Dividend is just kind of chilling around 5-6%. In terms of share price performance, it's, not really done much either. I mean, pretty flat this year. I just don't, in the consumer staples sector, I just think there are so many, excuse me, so many other companies that you can probably that may be better. But I will say, just looking at this lineup, the brands aren't too bad. Like, I don't know what kind of popcorn. Well, maybe it's just Utz popcorn, but on the border, Hawaiian. I'm wondering if these are the like Hawaiian chips, maybe TGI Fridays. I don't know, but I can't say Utz is my favorite company in the sector. Let's keep going. Let's see here. Zal, is it your birthday? I don't know. Let's see. Wilmer says, "What do you think about BGS Foods?" I don't know that I've looked at it, but let's take a look at BGS real quick. So I've definitely heard of the company. I'm just not very familiar. So B&G. I remember seeing this on my watch list here on Seeking Alpha. So year to date, they're down 6.5%. What do they own? What kind of brands do they have? So they're in the consumer. They are in the consumer staples sector. Let's go see what kind of brands they have, because it doesn't really give us much of a description. I guess it does here. We'll take a look though. So brands, our brands. Okay. Okay. So these are all pretty familiar so far, right? You guys will recognize a lot of these. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. There we go. Oh, Einstein Bros. Oh, my goodness gracious. Girl Scouts. Wow. Okay. This is nice. Snickers. Skinny Girl. Okay. What else we got? Texas Roadhouse. Twix. Love me some Twix. Very nice. I think this is a pretty solid lineup of brands, actually. Very cool. But going back over to here, let's take a look at the dividend stats real quick for B&G. Wow. Okay, so they must have gone. They definitely went through a dividend cut this year. So really high 7% yield. Dividend growth rate's negative, -16%. So that's quite a cut. So they cut it in less than half, actually, going from 48 cents down to 19 cents. Otherwise, what has it looked like? So they've been making consistent payments for the last 16 years. And it looks like for a lot of this, there's not been too much growth. I mean, from 2008 to 2021, I guess it did double, but we've seen other companies do that in less time and actually maintain that dividend. I mean, this dividend was flat for 4 years, right? Before it was cut. So I don't know, just based on the dividend stats, and you shouldn't obviously base it just on the dividend stats, but just based on those, I'd say there's better staples out there. Like I would much rather own a Procter and Gamble. I'd much rather own a Hershey, like the Hershey company, something like that, over B&G. And the same is true for Utz. Like if you're considering those, I would look at, I don't know. I guess I would ask you guys, like, what's the draw to these companies in particular? Like when you're looking at B&G Foods, when you're looking at Utz brands, and maybe you haven't gotten to this stage yet in the research process with this, which is totally fine. But if you have, when you're looking at these, what is it about these in particular? Let's just do B&G, Wilmer. Like, what is it about BGS here that you look at and say, you know what, this could be a good one? What is it about this particular company? I'm curious to know. I will say, just briefly looking at the financials, the revenue growth is really strong. They're growing in profits. Let's see how the profit margin is moving. Okay, so this is a bit concerning, I'd say. The margins are diminishing over time. you can see it goes from 33.5%, about, low 30s, around 30%, from 2013 to 2016 down to the low 20s, even dipping below 20% for the gross profit margin. And the operating margin too has pretty much been cut in half over these last 10 years. And even on a net income basis, like the further you go down the income statement, the worse the situation gets. As far as net income, over these last 2 years, they're in the red there. So I don't think that's too great. But yeah, I mean, and they're issuing shares here. If we look at this, they're issuing shares as time goes on. So you don't want to see that. There's just a lot that, I don't know. There's not many redeeming qualities to this company. I mean, the brands look good, and yeah, that's about it. But anyway, good question. It's kind of fun looking at these, especially these ones that I really have not looked at for a while or at all. So thank you guys for the suggestions. I appreciate that. And also with that said, just as a sidebar, like don't anything I say about these companies or any of the very brief, I guess, I don't know, analysis looking at that we do of these companies here on the stream, just take it with a grain of salt. This is just my opinion, obviously. And if you see something that I'm missing, go with that. And number one, let me know what that is. But number two, like go with it. You got to go with your own best judgment. So let's see. Let's see here. Let's keep going. Ooh, this is a good question. So any more info on the Dividend database? So, yeah, I'm still plugging away at it. I'm really trying to take my time with the Dividend database. And I'll show you guys real quick. I'll show you guys just kind of where it's at so far. Just give me a moment to pull it up here. So everything we're looking at here with the database is probably going to change. This is certainly not the final version. Not the final version of it. And just so you guys know too, so it's 6:04. Usually we'd stop the stream about now. We're going to go for another 10 minutes, maybe another 15 minutes or so. We're back on the right track with the stream. So we're just going to keep rocking with it. The last stream of the year too, we gotta make it a good one. We got to make it a long one. So, and once again, thank you guys so much for just hanging in there with me tonight. So weird. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. So anyway, let's go over to the screen, looking at the Dividend database. This is what it's looking like so far. So, and in case you've never heard of the Dividend database, this is something that I've been working on for the last few months now. This is what I use to do all of my stock research, or this is something I started using to do all of my stock research. And I call it my second brain for all things investing. And as you can see, it's got a handful of different things. So we'll go through just the stocks here because that's the main portion of it. In here, I have my investment philosophy, my investing philosophy. This is kind of my North Star. When it comes to my approach to investing, this is my attempt at writing it down and solidifying that. And this is something that's going to evolve over time for sure. So, but I think it helps to have something like that to revisit. I have an investment journal here. So any random notes, anything that comes to mind, if I'm reading something or if I am watching a video, and just any idea that any spark that I get, it's going to go here in this journal and I can refer to it later for whatever need that I have for it. In here, I have a section for book notes as well. I haven't done anything yet with the book notes. But this is basically, I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. So, and when you look at all these book notes, so let's say you're reading, I don't know, could be literally any book. You can just make a copy and paste the template, and there's all these different sections for books. So the book in 3 sentences, just a brief overview, key takeaways from the book, top quotes, and then you have chapter notes broken down by each individual chapter. And this is basically templated out. So you would just copy and paste this. And I'm going to enhance this a little bit more as well. Like I said, this is still a work in progress. It's not ready yet. But the main part of this Dividend database is the actual database itself. And this is what I'm using to do all of my stock research, keeping track of quarterly earnings notes, whatever. And so the most recent company that I've been going through, I've talked about this before, but it's Visa. And this is what I'll just kind of show you what it all looks like so far. So for Visa, it's broken down into, or each template rather, is broken down into 4 different sections. The 4 R's: research, reports, reflections, and resources. So the meat and potatoes here is the research portion, okay? And there's all these different sections that when you're analyzing a new company, you'll go through. And once again, this is not finalized. This is all subject to change. This is something that will evolve as time goes on. And as I get more reps, as I get more practice doing stock research and going through companies, I'm sure I'll add things, subtract things. Anyway, a long story short, this is going to be a constant work in progress because that's really what we all are as investors. We're constantly learning. So this should be no different. So anyway, when it comes to research, it all starts with the history. And you can see if we drop down in here, I've taken extensive notes on Visa. And most of this has come from like a 4-hour podcast that I listened to, which I've linked in the resources section. But anyway, this is like the full history of Visa. So for me, this is a really fun and it's a really important part to doing stock research, just knowing how these companies were formed, where they come from. And I hope that where they've come from actually from the start until now. And hopefully that will help me get an idea of where they might potentially go from here. So background, and this is broken down into a few sections, the company overview. This is a very brief, 2-3 sentence sort of thing, just giving an overview of the business, how they make their money. You can talk about all the different segments of the business, stuff like that. And then industry info. So we're looking at the industry as a whole, and then also looking at some of the competitors. So for Visa, what are the strengths and challenges of MasterCard, of American Express, Capital One, Discover, PayPal, etc. And so I want to be as in depth with this as I can. And so that's the background portion. I won't spend too much time on the rest of the stuff because you guys get it. But financials, we're looking at the three financial statements and just taking notes on the things that jump out to me. Looking at the margins, looking at how the sales are growing, the net income's growing, stuff like that. Same thing on balance sheet. How's the debt? Where are most of their assets? Where are most of their liabilities? Statement of cash flow, stuff like that. Management and capital allocation. This is probably the part that I definitely need some more practice going through this and analyzing this stuff. But anyway, I have not filled this out for VC yet. Competitive advantages, if a company has a moat or if there's something that makes it stand out from its competitors, you would put this in here. And if you just push this button right here, for example, it'll create a whole new thing and you can just go in and start typing away at the competitive advantage. Same thing with risks. Okay. And then valuation. We're looking at relative valuation, discounted cash flow, and then what the analysts say. And we're looking at a few different places. So Morningstar, Alpha Spread is Seeking Alpha. What are their fair value calculations for this company? And then reports, very basic. So quarterly earnings notes, any important news, notes, and updates. It's all going to go here. And once again, you just click a button, it'll create a template and you can take notes on all the quarterly earnings calls, stuff like that. Reflections, this is something I'm building out, but I think this is going to be very important. And these are questions that I think we should all ask ourselves when it comes to analyzing these companies. And I think I see a super chat here real quick from Joel from 10 minutes ago. Let me pull it up here. Sorry, Joel, for the delay in this. I'm not even worrying about Altria. You got to have the good, the bad, and the ugly in your portfolio. That's true that. And thank you for the $10 super chat. That's super nice. And if you guys want to talk more about Altria in just a moment, I'm more than happy to. But going back here to these reflections, I mean, look at these questions. It's pretty basic stuff, but I think these are very helpful questions to answer. Like in a few sentences, explain this company like you're talking to a 9-year-old. And if you can do that, you've probably got if you can really simplify the business, you've probably got a decent understanding of it. Why shouldn't you invest in this company? And you should at least list one reason here. And this comes from Charlie Munger's, I guess, model of inverting. He says, always invert. So when it comes to looking at companies, when it comes to looking at stocks, we're always approaching it from the perspective of why is this a good investment? And why should I buy this company? We're trying to, I guess, talk ourselves into buying this. And that's really the mindset when it comes to looking at these companies, looking at these stocks. But Charlie says to invert that. You're probably better off starting with the opposite and trying to determine why you shouldn't buy the company. And if you start with that, if you start with the bad, then you might come to realize, you might save yourself a lot of time actually, because you might come to find that the bad far outweighs the good. So Invert, always invert. And that's where that question comes from. There's a couple more questions too. Like if the stock market closed for 5 years, would you still feel comfortable owning this company? Which, by the way, the answer for me when it comes to Visa is yes, I totally would. I feel that way about Procter and Gamble. I feel that way about many of the companies. I actually would say probably all of the companies in my portfolio right now. I feel I can say yes to this question. And that's an important thing. At what price would you feel comfortable buying the stock at? So basically, what price you like in, and then if it had a substantial run up in a short period of time, like for example, something like Williams Sonoma did, at what price would you consider selling? If you feel that it's gotten to a point where it's overbought and it's potentially overvalued, what price is that? What does that look like? So, and that might be, excuse me, that might be helpful in answering some of the questions like I got earlier, like with Apple or Chevron, because they've run up so much. Would you consider selling them? Well, I might have a better answer to that question if I had come across these reflections prior to investing in them. And my goal with this database is to go through all of the positions in my portfolio and really fill this out, and over time establish as expansive of a database as I can. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go so long into the dividend database, but that's where it's at so far. Still a work in progress. I'm hoping over these next couple months, these next few months, I can have something finalized, because I do want to roll it out to you guys and share with you this template, and eventually in some capacity share with you guys my database as well, so you can see all my stock research and have access to that. I don't know what all that looks like yet, but that's where we're at with it. And I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a really helpful thing because, at least for me, and we'll move on in just a moment, but at least for me, up until this point, I felt so scatterbrained when it comes to researching stocks. It's just like reading some things and just keeping everything in my head. And I just don't think that's a really good way to go about it. I think for me, it's so far been a really helpful thing to have this all-encompassing process, some sort of order of operations to adhere to. And it's fun. It takes a lot more time. And it keeps me honest too. Like, most importantly, it keeps me honest and it forces me to do the work. I think it's easy to not do the work, excuse me, and not spend a lot of time with these companies before buying them. If you just keep things in your head and just kind of, read some Morningstar reports and some Seeking Alpha articles and call it good. So I want to get away from that. And so this thing for me will totally help with that. So that's where we're at. Let's keep going here. Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm like 15 minutes behind in the stream right now. So let me get caught up here. I'm so sorry. If I skipped over some of your questions, just drop them. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. So see what I missed. Was there a question on books? I see Jim talking about books here. That is a whole nother rabbit hole we can go down, guys. A whole nother tangent, I should say, we can start. So, was Russ here? I see someone talking about Russ. Talking about live streams. Okay. Oh, this is a great question. Great question. Ryan, just curious, what's your favorite Vici property? I must say that I love the Luxor. Really? I have never heard anyone say that. I actually have not been to the Luxor since I moved here, but it's not known for being the nicest property. So I would say, out of all the Vici properties, let's go look at their full lineup of properties. So let's see. So portfolio, real estate. Let's go to, see if we can just do this right here. So cookies. Okay. Filtered by location. Are we south or are we west? We're probably west, right? No, I see. Okay, west. So Caesars, Excalibur, Harrah's, MGM, Mandalay Bay, Luxor, New York, Park MGM. Oh, the Mirage. I forgot they had the Mirage. So the Venetian. So the Venetian is highly regarded as one of the nicest properties on the Strip. I got to be honest with you guys, I do not feel that way. That part of the Strip, I really don't like going to. It's a very at the very end of the strip. The hotel itself is really nice and the casino is very nice, but uh, I don't know if this will be mean to say, but um, the Venetian is where a lot of the homeless people hang out, and for tourists, I think you're better off center strip somewhere more like Caesar's Palace, which I would have to say on this list is probably my favorite property. Caesar's Palace, hands down. I actually spent a lot of time at Caesar's Palace, not gambling or whatever. My fiance and I just like to go and walk around the Forum Shops, which is the the big mall there attached to Caesar's Palace. So, and fun fact, that's a Simon Property Group mall. So there's actually, I think, 3 or 4 different ones in Vegas. You've got SPG has the outlets, they've got the Forum Shops, they've got the Crystal Shops at Aria, and actually they have 2 different outlets. So I think there's 4 different SPG properties, all of them nice. But I would say Caesar's on this list is my favorite. I also I really do like the Mirage. The Mirage, excuse me, has this bar, really cool bar called Rum Bar, RHUMBAR. If you guys are ever in Vegas, I'd highly recommend checking it out. Really good cocktails. Park MGM is actually a really fun place too. Park MGM is non-smoking. It's a really nice hotel. Location's not too bad either. So I'd say Park MGM, Mirage, Caesars are up there for me. I don't usually go down to the end of the strip where MGM is. Mandalay, I have not been since I moved to Vegas, but look at that pool. You can see it's got that walk-in pool that's kind of like a beach or whatever. But Mandalay is known for and that might even have sand, actually. I don't know that for sure. But Mandalay is known for their really nice pool. So, and I think they have a big aquarium too. So let's see. I'm scrolling down. I'm caught up in the chat here. Let's go a couple more minutes and we'll wrap it up. See where we're at here. So yeah, Jasmine, Luxor's not as bad. It's haunted. Oh, wow. I did not know that. Did not know that it's haunted. So I definitely will not be going there because I do not like ghosts. They are not my favorite. Jasmine also says Venetian and Palazzo, top 2 hotels in town. There are no. Well, no. I mean, I was there last week. Saw quite a few homeless people, and that obviously it's a sad situation for sure. But they like to sleep right there in the walkways as you head into the hotel. But the inside of the Venetian is really nice. So, and they've got some nice shops there as well. So, let's see. I would say though, like overall, my favorite hotel is probably the Bellagio. For me, there he is. Hi. Yeah, I'd say the Bellagio's up there for me. Probably my top. The Flamingo I actually really like too. Whenever we do a staycation on the strip, we always stay at the Flamingo. Really good location, really good, just super affordable. I actually like the Cosmo too. Like that whole part of the strip, I really like. So okay. Go Hard Brother says, does Vici allow shareholders to stay for a discount? Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. Let's keep going. Yep. Rob says drink. We saw Peanut. Where'd he go? I don't know where he went. But you guys know the rules. Dividend happy hour drinking game. There's the rules in the description. You got to drink every time you see the guy. So, there we go. Benny says you have to check out the Skyfall Lounge. Yeah, I've heard that place is pretty cool. I think maybe my fiance worked an event there when we first moved here. I don't remember, but I'd love to make it over to Mandalay at some point. So, oh, there we go. Mr. Nick says, about to pop champagne, finished my MBA. Man, congratulations. That's incredible. Good for you. Good job. I'm curious to know like what you got your what are you going to do with your MBA? What your plan is? That's awesome. There we go. Zal says final shot of the year to close out the stream. Yep. Yeah, and with that, guys, I think this on that note, I think this is a pretty good place to wrap it up. But before we do, I just want to share a few things with you guys. Just a couple closing thoughts. Number one, if you enjoyed this, gosh, what do we even call it? If you enjoyed this, the randomness that was this stream tonight, and you haven't done so already, please hit the thumbs up button on the video. I appreciate it. And what else we got here? I see. Yep. Subscribe. Definitely do that. Check out the most recent newsletter. It's linked in the description of the video. And subscribe to the newsletter if you haven't done so already. I think you guys will enjoy it. It comes out every Thursday morning, bright and early. First thing, you can wake up and have that email delivered straight to your inbox. What else do we got for you guys? If you want to keep up with my portfolio, I actually just started over the last month. Let me show you real quick. Over the last month, I've been using this new portfolio tracking platform called GetQuinn. I've talked about it a couple times here on the channel, and it's really cool. It reminds me a lot of kind of like a Robinhood in a way, just the user interface. Very clean, very cool. And yeah, if you guys want to check it out and follow my portfolio in real time, see all my purchases, see all my dividends, see the portfolio value, whatever, you can do so on GetQuinn. There's a link to it in the description of the video, and it's free to sign up. So if you sign up, just shoot me a follow over there. My username's just @Ryan. So super easy to find me. And yeah, you can keep up with my portfolio, see all my holdings, see what's going on there. And at this point in time, this is the only place you can do that. So yeah, definitely check that out. One more thing, just one more time, guys. Thank you so much again. I mean, December 29th, closing out 2023. This year, as they all do, went by so fast. It's just like you blink and the time goes. And the older you get, I think the more the quicker it seems to go. But with that said, I just want to thank you guys once again so much for all the support, not only this year, but over these last 3 years. I started making videos October 2020, and it just continually blows my mind that we've grown the channel to this point. And it would not be possible without the support of all you guys out there. And I sincerely appreciate it. And 2024, don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be a party. It's going to be interesting. I do know that. And yeah, thank you guys once again. We'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting year. But with that, guys, I want to wish you a happy new year. Yeah, I just want to wish you guys a happy new year. We had a really good year in 2023. I think we're about to have another one. No matter what the market does, I think it's going to be a good year of growth, good year of cash flow, and a good year of progress and taking steps closer towards reaching financial freedom, because that's why we're all here. We're all on this journey together. So once again, thank you guys so much for everything. And I guess that's it. Oh yeah, join the Discord, like Zal says. Join the Discord. 2,700 investors in the Discord group. That's free to join too. And yeah, be on the lookout for Sunday's video. It's going to be a good one. And with that, guys, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Have a very safe and very happy new year. Once again, I'm so sorry for tonight, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.